What is up, YouTube? YouTube watchers, rather. I was going through here and basically picking up all the trash, everything in one spot, so I know what I'm going to throw away. I've got some manual seat tracks right here for 99 through 06, but I've had them posted on Marketplace for about 6 weeks now. Nobody seems to be interested, so I'm probably just going to scrap these for metal. Just trying to clean up some stuff in here. And what I found here is this. This top part here is off of a V6, like 99 through 06 V6 Silverado truck, whatever, Sierra Silverado V6. The bottom part is off of my single cab out there, 5.3, the factory 5.3 intake tube, the lumpy intake tube that is for, I guess, sound, you know, kind of muffles the sound of the intake. So what I did right here, just testing purposes, this part right here will fit on the 2012 Silverado, like the throttle body. And this part will fit on the intake to remove the big, ugly intake system that's on the 2012 truck, where it runs behind the intake, beside the intake, and down, and all the lumps to kind of muffle the sound of the intake. So what I did was I cut this part off of the V8 truck, a V8 intake. This part's off of a V6. The only problem is this tube is kind of small right here. It's, I can't remember. I think it's a little over 3.5 inch diameter, inside diameter. I don't know how well that would work on a 2012 5.3 truck. If that intake diameter is too small, if it will cause any problems. But this fits no problem. And, you know, it's a straight shot over to the air box. So this is just, you know, something that I'm hacking together. I mean, if it don't work, I'm throwing this away. I'll just toss it. I'll toss it with all this and, you know, send it out to trash. But I thought, what the heck? Let's try this. Let's just see how this works. The only thing is, on those trucks, they have a plug, a hose that plugs in for the PVC, the PCV, whatever, PCV system. But that, I may just take that plastic hose off, find a rubber emissions hose and run it to the intake box, so I don't have to put a hole in this. Just run it straight to the top of the intake box where it can still suck in fresh air. But anyway, that's, you know, that's down the road. I'm going to try this. I'm going to put it on and just drive it around, see if there's any differences, if there's any, I don't know, I may leave it on there for a week. Maybe when I start work next week, you know, I have a 35-mile drive to the job. Maybe I can drive it back and forth a few times and just see if there's a noticeable difference or whatever with this ugly hack intake tube that cost me nothing. Or, well, I guess it cost me something. I had to buy the parts trucks, but technically nothing. You know what, for a 2012 truck, I think an aftermarket intake is going to run you at least 150 plus, and this is, I don't know, technically free. But anyway, I just took some of this JB plastic weld right here and got in there, as you can see, put some in there. It's yellow, so you can kind of see it in there how it's yellow, and really bonded these two together, because this is the plastic inside this rubber here. I couldn't get that plastic out because these are like bonded together, so I just cut it smooth and it fit right in this tube, which has me wondering if this tube is too small of a diameter, if it will affect performance or anything, or drivability. But anyway, I got that sitting up right now, gluing that solid. That's the only thing. It's ugly. I may just take some black gasket maker silicone and run around this just to make it all one color and shape, just for looks, you know, as if this is not, you know, some hackery that some tweaker would do. But hey, I thought, you know, just before I throw it away, before I chunk all this in the trash, I'll see if it works. If it works, maybe it'll work good enough to replace that ugly ass factory intake that's under that, you know, under the hood of that truck. But anyway, I'll let this set up and completely dry, clean it out. really clean the inside of it out, clean the outside of it out, and I'll come back whenever I'm installing it on the truck. And we will go for a test drive with this monstrosity installed and see if there's any difference. If it runs okay, if it throws a check engine code and I have to toss the factory one back on and clear the code, you know, I'll show it on camera. We'll just see how it does. Will this ugly thing work? Okay, so we've made it to the road. I'm gonna pull out. I'm gonna go down this way since this truck is legal. I do hear way more intake noises, which is to be expected. Haven't noticed any drivability problems. It drives the same. And like this truck here, I'm not gonna be hot rodding it. You know, I may like get a proper intake for it, cut the third cat off, try to sell it, do maybe an aftermarket muffler, something quiet, a big chamber, big muffler, just to have a rumble, or just see how the factory exhaust sounds with the third cat cut off. But yeah, I'm not going to do really any performance mods to this truck other than like DOD delete, which this truck needs the DOD deleted before it causes a problem. Maybe ask Texas Speed if they have a camshaft that's a little bit, tiny bit better than the stock camshaft. Other than that, no, that's it. I do like the fact that bugs are hitting this truck after washing it. Didn't think about that. Try to only drive this truck during the day because bugs out here are really bad. But anyway, we'll get up here and I'll turn back around and, you know, I'll just stomp the gas pedal just to see how it sounds. It's warmed up good. Everything's warmed up. The tires are warmed up. So let's turn around right here. The traffic has died down on this road quite a bit. Traffic's real bad from like 3:30 to 4:30 to 5. It's 8 o'clock right now. So let me get backed up and turned around. There. Okay, that's better. I get a straight shot when I pull out. Okay, don't see anybody coming back that way. It's probably gonna spin a little bit or kick traction control because it was wet back there. Let's see. I mean, it's a truck. It's not fast, but I mean, it makes a lot of intake noise now, which I guess is okay. I mean, slow it down to about 60 and do a 60 pull. I mean, I can't tell you if it pulls harder now. I don't think it does. The sound just may make me think it pulls harder because it definitely has a lot more intake, throaty sound. I don't think the performance is hurt any or the drivability is hurt by the smaller tube. But, you know, we'll get back to the house and I'll just collect my thoughts and think if I want to keep this tube, this monstrosity ghetto looking tube on here, or put it you know, back to stock with the factory intake tube. I don't know. But anyway, I'll turn the phone back on when I get back to the house. Okay, we made it back. So basically, I don't know. I mean, for a cheap little thrown together hack intake, it did okay. But the only thing I don't like about this is there's not much of an angle right here. Like this part right here should have been angled more down, because this air box, I had to pull it up out of the rubber stoppers, so there wouldn't be much of an angle on this down there. I mean, if I wanted to, I could take them bolts out and kind of angle the sheet metal up But I don't really want to do all that just to make this little hack intake work. I mean, does it sound better than the factory? Yeah. I didn't notice, I don't notice any different performance gains, which you're not going to notice much from an intake. My big thing, the big thing that I'm going for, is there less clutter under the hood? You know, you can see a lot more. Like, look at the space here. I'll throw that top back on the motor, obviously. And this, like I said, this I'll take off and run a hose from here to about right here. I'll just tap this and put like a brass fitting in this and then stick that hose on there. So the PCV can still draw in clean air. And then later on, maybe I can search Marketplace and find some type of intake. I would just like to find here to here and keep the factory intake box. But if I can find an actual tube to replace this part with, a proper tube with the proper bends to make this work, you know, I would just go with that. You know, I don't want, you know, to have to do this right here where I have to pop this up to get this to fit. But anyway, I guess that's it for now. I was just out here messing around, didn't have anything to do today. I may just leave this on here and go ahead and fix the PCV, get all this stuff to work, because whenever I start work next week, I may drive this a few days. You know, I obviously drive the Hoopty Gas Saver Prius, you know, that gets 40 plus miles to a gallon. But, you know, every other day, once, twice a week, I may drive this truck here and just kind of see how it does, you know, on a 37, we'll say a 40-mile trip one way. You know, we'll just see how it does. On that little short drive, I didn't notice any difference. It didn't run funny. Check engine light never came on. So, I don't know, I guess that's it. I'm probably going to clean the front end off because I'm OCD and there's freaking bugs all over it. But anyway, that's it for now. Let me think, how much of a hack, comment and tell me how much of a hack is that? Ruining this truck, doing whatever. I mean, I don't care. But like I said, if I can find an actual replacement tube to replace all that factory intake junk, I would. That's just my cheap piece right there to do that. Now, I will need to take it back off because it's only got a layer of epoxy on the outside. I want to get on the inside and squirt some on the inside. I need to get one of those applicator sticks that goes on the end of the epoxy, the one that pre-mixes, so I can squirt it on the inside and have 2 points of connection. Or just not even worry about it. If that holds it, why waste the effort or extra money making that little hack intake work? But anyway, that's all I got. I guess just leave a comment. Let me know what you think, negative or positive. You guys have a great day or night.